Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle 15 for 15 bundle of April 2026. To help me answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have Chip and Clawz versus the Brainioids, a colourful genre mashup that attempts to bridge the gap between third-person action platforming and real-time strategy. You step into the roles of Chip, a human inventor, or Clawz, a robotic feline, as they defend Earth from an alien invasion. The core gameplay loop involves navigating graph sphere maps using a controller, which feels surprisingly natural despite the strategic depth. You'll find that the RTS mechanics are impressively smooth. You can effortlessly zoom out to a command view to manage units and control lanes while staying grounded in the action to reclaim replicons. This hybrid approach requires you to balance third-person combat, using melee and ranged attacks with the high-level management of troop types and building replacements. The campaign serves as an effective tutorial, teaching you the rock-paper-scissors dynamic of unit strengths and weaknesses, through missions that typically last around 20 minutes. Visually, you're treated to a vibrant cartoonish aesthetic, reminiscent of Ratchet & Clank, though the platforming feels less fluid than those inspirations. While the story and pithy dialogue might feel a bit grating or lacks depth, the technical execution is solid. The inclusion of a friend pass for co-op play is a standout feature, allowing you to tackle boss battles, which can be cognitively demanding, with a partner. If you're looking for an accessible entry point into RTS, or a novel spin on familiar mechanics, this title offers a creative, if occasionally frustrating, evolution of the genre. At number 2 we have Pinball Spire, a Pinballvania, a unique roguelike that casts you as Pip, a sentient pinball, climbing a mysterious materialized tower. Unlike traditional pinball, this game features a network of connected medieval-style playfields, blending classic pinball elements, bumpers, kickbacks, and wavy lanes, with novelties like giant controllable gears and spinning plinko cogs. Your goal is to scale the battlement by hitting targets and gathering gems to unlock gates to the next area. To aid your progress across the 3 to 6 hour campaign, you unlock crucial abilities. You initially gain the power to slow down time, which not only helps you avoid plunging past your flippers, but also displays Pip's trajectory, allowing you to make difficult, precise shots. Later, you even earn a fireball ability to burn through obstructions. Since these skills require mana, you must keep hitting ancillary targets to keep your gauge filled and Pip rolling. However, the game can become frustratingly Sisyphean. If you fall past the flippers in some challenging rooms, you'll be forced to inch your way back up, draining the delight as the campaign progresses. Given the Pinballvania descriptor, the linear campaign and lack of forking paths are lamentable. Furthermore, a major absence is the ability to nudge the ball, a fundamental feature that could have alleviated occasional vexations. While the fail-free approach is a progressive ambition that removes the urgency of traditional pinball, it makes the experience feel less like a competitive score chase and more like a simple track. Though the multi-playfield campaign is varied, Pinball Spire is primarily aimed at fanatical pinball fans, offering a unique concept that unfortunately doesn't quite deliver the fun of a traditional high-score competition. At number 3 we have Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek, a prequel to the stealth horror hit, following the neighbor's children as they process a family tragedy through imaginative play. You step into the role of Mia, the daughter, engaging in high-stakes hide-and-seek with her brother Aaron. While the premise attempts to add emotional depth to the franchise, the execution often stumbles into frustration. The game is divided into 5 surreal stages that transform a suburban home into a vast, dreamlike environment, such as a savanna or a city. The primary objective is to collect specific items while evading Aaron, whose AI learns your patterns. However, you'll likely find the controls slippery and the platforming imprecise. Many tasks require you to scale oversized furniture or mountains, where the physics feel more like a trial-by-error struggle than a polished mechanic. One of the most aggravating features is that when Aaron catches you, he takes some of your gathered items, forcing you to retrace your steps. The puzzles are frequently obtuse, lacking clear context or direction, which might leave you feeling lost in the large, unfocused maps. Visually, the game shines with its colourful, Pixar-like aesthetic and impressive lighting, which captures the whimsical nature of childhood make-believe. The cutscenes are similarly well animated, providing a haunting narrative backbone. If you aren't already a dedicated fan of the series' lore, you may find the repetitive gameplay and technical shortcomings overshadow the game's striking art and tragic story. At number 4 we have Black Skylands, a thrilling journey through the boundless skies where the allure of adventure beckons with every gust of wind. The game immerses you in the exhilarating world of nautical battles, soaring airships, and a quest for freedom. At its core, Black Skylands follows the tale of Eva, a young-spirited young girl determined to safeguard her homeland from the clutches of bandit invaders. As you assume the role of the local air marshal, you'll navigate through a blend of compelling plot twists and adrenaline-fueled action sequences. While the storyline veers between simplicity and unexpected drama, it keeps you engaged in the struggle against tyranny and the pursuit of justice. The gameplay revolves around a dynamic loop of exploration, combat, and resource management. Fuel up your airship, upgrade your gear, and set sail across the vast expanse of floating islands. Engage in thrilling dogfights, board enemy vessels, and liberate islands from bandit control. Each encounter presents a unique challenge, whether it's navigating treacherous hazards or maneuvering relentless adversaries. Despite its engaging premise, Black Skylands isn't without its flaws. The twin-stick shooting mechanics can feel clunky at times, and transitioning between aerial and land-based combat can be disorienting. Additionally, the game exhibits signs of an identity crisis, with hints of ambitious features that were ultimately streamlined or omitted during development. Nevertheless, Black Skylands delivers an enjoyable adventure, brimming with charm and excitement. Its blend of exploration, combat, and puzzle solving offers a satisfying gameplay experience that will keep you captivated from start to finish. While it may not soar to the heights of perfection, it's a journey well worth embarking on for fans of high-flying escapades. At number 5 we have UnMetal, a satirical espionage action game. You control Jesse Fox, a commando imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, and your mission is to escape a sprawling military complex. The game is a humorous homage to Konami's Metal Gear franchise, with a top-down perspective and stealth mechanics reminiscent of the 8-bit era, but with a unique twist. As Jesse Fox, you navigate installations teeming with guards, avoid detection, and amass an arsenal of weapons and gadgets. These tools, some borrowed from Metal Gear, help you solve puzzles and progress. Despite the adventure game undertones, UnMetal remains a stealth game at its core. If you're spotted, alarms will sound, and reinforcements flood the area, making stealth crucial to survival. UnMetal incorporates modern elements like body hiding, item looting, and RPG-like leveling, enhancing the old-school framework. These features feel natural and add depth to the gameplay. The writing is the star, filled with hilarious moments and long-running gags that keep you laughing throughout the 13-hour playthrough. Jesse Fox's overreactive imagination leads to brilliant player choice-driven scenarios that affect the game's difficulty and replay value. While UnMetal's variety of locales and fun puzzles shine, a couple of lengthy mazes can feel tedious. However, these moments do not overshadow the overall experience. UnMetal is a laugh-out-loud, hilarious love letter to the Metal Gear franchise. It's a must-play for fans, combining retro-inspired stealth action with modern mechanics, making it a worthy addition to any classic Metal Gear fan's collection. At number 6 we have The Dark Queen of Mortholme, a short-form second-person indie that flips the Souls-like script by casting you as the final boss. You play as the titular queen, perched atop your throne and burdened by the Sisyphean task of swatting away a persistent, underdogged hero. While the premise suggests a simple subversion, it evolves into a thoughtful micro-treatise on the nature of heroism, the tragedy of stagnation, and the personhood hidden behind folklore myths. The game captures the maddening repetition of being an immortal obstacle, where victory feels trivial and time is the only thing you truly lose. The gameplay centers on a series of encounters with the same interloper. Initially, you lazily maze-flatten the stationary hero, but as they return repeatedly, they learn your patterns. You gain new moves, like gap-closing spikes and telegraph magic, but your fixed repertoire eventually becomes your downfall. The narrative is clever about its meta elements. An achievement titled Auto Tricks pops once you've exhausted your moveset, signaling that the hero has finally surpassed your static power. Dialogue options allow you to lean into curiosity or dismissiveness, revealing that the queen is as much a prisoner of her castle as the hero is of the challenge. Visually, the game utilizes a striking retro indie style, punctuated by a grand boss theme featuring rasping organ pipes. Despite short runtime, it leaves a lasting impression regarding how unchallenged dominance leads to decay. It is a worthwhile reflective experience that questions whether being the ultimate boss is a triumph or a life sentence of boredom. At number 7 we have Streets of Rogue, a chaotic roguelike game with endless player choice. You play as a newly hired mercenary whose mission is to help the Alliance in restoring the city from its corrupt state. This game is not about the story though. You can play as 26 different characters, killing targets and stealing MacGuffins from guarded buildings. Once all of your missions are finished, you take an elevator onto your next procedurally generated floor. You keep going until you die or reach the end. Even though the world and missions are repetitive, the unique traits of each character and how they interact with the world is very unpredictable. Some of these characters are hackers who can't fight but can hack electronics. Some are cannibals who can regenerate health by literally eating corpses, while assassins can go invisible, among others. You have multiple ways to approach each mission. You're given a general goal like kill this dude, and how you go about doing it is up to you. You can simply gun him down, beat him up, program a turret to target him, or hire him as a bodyguard, lure him into an enemy ambush, and get him killed. It's entirely up to you. Missions are randomized, and each character has their own optional big quests. Completing this quest nets you a permanent ability for that class. These quests and the unique traits of each character makes picking a new class feel like playing a whole different game. Each run takes its own personality thanks to the different items you find in shops, chests, and safes, as well as the traits you pick up between levels. You can also play around with a list of custom rules called mutators. That makes it a bit like a build-your-own roguelike experience. You can make the game easier or harder by how you mutate the rules of the game. This game is absolutely worth playing, and once you start, it is hard to stop. It gives you a ton of freedom, a varied cast of characters, combined with the randomness of traits and mutators. 2 runs will never play the same. At number 8 we have Embr, a fast-paced over-the-top firefighting game that turns emergency response into a chaotic comedic hustle. You play as a gig economy firefighter, diving into burning buildings not just to rescue civilians, but to get paid doing it. In Embr, the fire never really stops, and neither do you. Every level is packed with hazards, gas leaks, electrical arcs, security traps, and structural chaos. You're tasked with putting out fires, saving clients, securing valuables, or looting them, and escaping before everything comes down around you. It is frantic, ridiculous, and surprisingly strategic. The game's humor is baked into every system. Civilians casually hang out in burning bathrooms, and yes, you can toss them out the windows to safety. While the tone is light, the gameplay is tighter than you'd expect. There are over 25 levels, loads of gadgets and cosmetic gear, and daily challenges to keep you coming back. Solo play also works well, especially if you enjoy arcade-style action, but the multiplayer is where Embr truly shines. Unfortunately, public lobbies are sparse, so convincing friends to join you is your best bet. When you're working as a team, shouting orders, coordinating rescues, and maybe stealing a toaster, it is wild fun. That said, Embr isn't built for long-term grind. Sessions are best in short bursts, and while progression exists, the loop can get repetitive. Still, for a budget-friendly indie game in a bundle with big energy and laughs, it delivers. If you enjoy couch chaos or co-op calamity, Embr is absolutely worth grabbing, especially in a bundle. Just don't expect realism. At number 9 we have UFO, Unidentified Falling Objects, a vibrant mashup of a puzzle platformer that drops you directly into the action. Instead of merely shifting blocks from the outside, you control a small customizable astronaut within the playfield, navigating through a rain of colorful shapes and deadly hazards. Your objective is simple but addictive. You must kick or shoot blocks to group colors together and then trigger massive chain reactions to clear the board and rack up high scores. The gameplay loop is surprisingly deep, requiring you to balance quick reflexes with strategic deduction. As you progress through 6 unique worlds, each accompanied by a pulsing synthwave soundtrack, you encounter eccentric characters who challenge you with specific mission objectives. You're not just matching colors, you're dodging hostile aliens, avoiding falling debris, and managing your limited armor. When your suit is breached, your run ends, keeping the tension high. One of the game's strongest features is customization. You can modify your loadout with different weapons, movement styles, and kicks that drastically change how you interact with the environment. While the retro pixel art is simplistic, it ensures a chaotic screen remains readable during intense moments. However, you might find the progression occasionally frustrating, as some objectives demand a high significant grind that doesn't always feel respectful of your time. Despite this minor hurdle, the blend of precision platforming and classic block clearing logic offers a fresh, compelling experience. Whether you're chasing local high scores or competing in 20-player online battles, the one more round pool is undeniable. At number 10 we have Blacksmith, Ignite the Forge, a hybrid of crafting simulation, strategy, and auto-battler that casts you as a master smith in a fantasy realm. Your primary objective is to manage a bustling forge, where you mine ores, smelt unique alloys, and engage in tactile minigames to hammer out powerful weapons. Precision matters, as the quality of your strikes directly dictates how effective your gear is in the battlefield. You don't control heroes directly. Instead, you hire mercenaries, primarily dwarves, and equip them with your handmade tools. The strategy lies in preparation. You must match weapon types to a warrior's specific stats, and enhance gear with magical runes. Once ready, you send your team on missions to combat chaos. Battles play out automatically, but the stakes are high. If a warrior falls, both the unit and your expensive gear are lost forever. The game features a charming 2D art style and solid voice acting, though your experience may be marred by a clunky interface and a lack of sorting options for your growing inventory. While the core loop of mixing metals and enchanting is addictive, you might find the difficulty curve a bit uneven, with an early game that feels like a chore simulator before becoming quite easy once you master alloy combinations. At roughly 8 hours to complete the main campaign, it is a relatively short experience. If you enjoy resource management and seeing your craftsmanship lead to victory, you'll find this a satisfying, if unpolished, indie gem. At number 11 we have Dragon Eclipse, a roguelike deck builder that blends monster taming mechanics with an auto-battler twist. You take on the role of a tamer, leading a team of 3 mislings, creatures that grow, evolve, and use unique abilities to fight back the encroaching eclipse. While the premise suggests a deep fusion of Spire and Pokemon, the actual experience is a bit of a mixed bag. The core loop involves navigating a map, gathering resources, and engaging in tactical battles where your cards act as commands for your beasts. You'll find that the relationship between cards and mislings is the game's strongest feature. Cards nudge your allies into specific patterns rather than dealing direct damage. However, you must contend with a lack of polish. The user interface is often clunky, animations are sparse, and the feedback during combat can be confusing as actions resolve in a back-to-front order that forces your eyes to dart across the screen. Furthermore, you might find the difficulty lacking. Experienced deck-building fans often steamroll the final boss within a few hours. Because power is heavily concentrated in the mislings themselves rather than the deck, strategy often boils down to nuking enemies with one overleveled glass cannon while the others provide support. With a shallow card pool and limited run variation, the sense of discovery fades quickly. If you grab it in a bundle, it offers a few hours of charming monster evolution fun, but don't expect the long-term depth found in the genre's titans. At number 12 we have Gunfrog, a unique physics-based movement shooter where you bounce on lily pads, kill flies, and explore a vibrant world as a frog that ate a gun. This short, fast-paced indie title centers on an absurdly charming premise. King Toad ate another frog, and now you must embark on an epic journey to take him down. With 7 unique bosses and a wide range of silly characters, the game delivers a concentrated burst of action-packed momentum. You'll find that traversal is the heart of the experience. Mastery requires you to control your momentum while airborne, as landing on the ground often leads to a quick death. The combat is simple but challenging, especially on hard mode where you must use your mouse to aim precisely while mid-jump. However, the game is not without its quirks. You might find the ammo management system a bit tedious, and certain bosses, like the infamous snake or the elusive owl, can feel nearly impossible to defeat without clever positioning or the occasional glitch. The vibrant 3D visuals and energetic soundtrack create a mesmerizing atmosphere that belies the game's origin as a game jam project. While it only takes about an hour to finish, the adorable frog designs and fluid movement mechanics make it a satisfying aim trainer in disguise. It is a compact, affordable experience that doesn't overstay its welcome. If you enjoy quirky, movement-heavy shooters and don't mind a steep difficulty curve at the final boss, Gunfrog offers a delightfully weird time. At number 13 we have Patch Quest, a vibrant blend of genres that turns exploration, monster collecting, and twin-stick shooting into one chaotic, colorful adventure. You play as an explorer, dropped into a stitched-together island filled with creatures to tame, plants to collect, and mysteries to uncover. Every run feels different thanks to the roguelike shuffling world that keeps things fresh and unpredictable. You start by customizing your explorer and meeting Pack, a chatty robotic backpack who teaches you the ropes. Using your lasso, you capture creatures, each with unique attacks and abilities, and ride them into battle. You'll constantly swap mounts as they tire, keeping combat dynamic. Between dodging endless waves of bullets and blasting enemies with your Nutri Blaster, you'll need to stay alert. Despite its cute art, this game is no walk in the park. It's challenging, fast, and often chaotic. Exploration feels rewarding. You'll discover dozens of biomes, uncover new plants and mounts, and decorate your base camp with everything you've found. As you play, you'll unlock permanent upgrades to improve movement, attacks, and resistance, giving each run a sense of progression. The hand-drawn visuals pop with personality, and the soundtrack adapts as you ride different creatures, keeping the experience lively. While the constant bullet hell battles can feel repetitive, the sheer variety of creatures, environments, and power-ups keeps you hooked. If you enjoy monster collecting, exploration, and high-energy combat, Patch Quest offers an endlessly replayable adventure that's as charming as it is challenging. At number 14, we have Yaga, an action RPG roguelike game featuring Slavic folklore elements. You play as Ivan, a likable blacksmith cursed with bad luck after a fateful encounter with a bloodthirsty creature, Liko. The game revolves around Ivan being sent on seemingly insignificant quests by an evil Tsar, warned by Baba Yaga that Ivan's misfortune could lead to the kingdom's downfall. Baba Yaga serves as a narrator and supporting character, adding an air of unease and mystery to the game. Yaga's artwork is fantastic, with procedurally generated maps showcasing diverse landscapes and grotesque character designs that contribute to the game's fantastical atmosphere. The storytelling is reminiscent of fairy tales, incorporating rhyming dialogue and allowing players to customize their playthrough with different responses from Ivan. One notable gameplay aspect is the active role of bad luck. Choices made during quests affect Ivan's luck, which influences the game mechanics. Consuming items contributes to a bad luck bar, increasing the likelihood of weapon breakage. While this adds depth to the experience, it can also become frustrating. Combat in Yaga offers variation and customization, with different weapons and secondary tools available. However, the combat mechanics can sometimes feel repetitive and lead to button mashing, but the traditional Romanian soundtrack helps maintain engagement. Despite occasional tedium, Yaga remains an enjoyable adventure with its unique setting, beautiful storyline, and captivating score. The game offers replay value and provides around 10 hours of gameplay, making it a charming yet creepy experience for players. At number 15, we have an Elder Scrolls legend, Battlespire, a unique smaller scope spin-off that trades the vast open worlds of Arena and Daggerfall for a grueling handcrafted dungeon crawling experience. You play as an apprentice battle mage trapped within the Battlespire, an elite training facility under siege by the forces of Mehrunes Dagon. With the gate to Tamriel blocked and the staff slaughtered, your only way out is to descend into the dark atmospheric pocket realms of Oblivion. If you're coming from Skyrim, the transition will be jarring. You must navigate clunky controls, buggy platforming, and a technical state that often feels rushed. The game is notoriously punishing. If you create an insufficient character, you likely softlock yourself or die repeatedly in the first level. To survive, you must min-max your attributes, focusing heavily on health and magic, while ignoring useless stats like luck. The appeal lies in the rich Daedric lore and the campy peak 90s voice acting of the Scamps and Dremora. Visually, the sinister architect and eerie synth soundtrack create a captivating foreboding aesthetic. However, the experience is marred by game-breaking bugs, such as save file corruption and glitchy level geometry that can trap you in walls. While the lore is top-notch and the handcrafted levels are intriguing, Battlespire is a rough around the edges gem reserved for hardcore Elder Scrolls fans. You need immense patience to handle this brutal challenge, but if you persevere, you'll discover a fascinating, albeit broken, piece of RPG history. And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is a total loot drop for your Steam Deck library. For just $15, you're snagging GOAT tier bangers like Streets of Rogue and Patch Quest, which are absolute time sinks. While some titles like Pinball Spire might feel like a laggy mess with frustrating mechanics, the overall value is a massive win. Whether you're grinding through Black Skylands or dodging bullets, this bundle is a high tier carry for your backlog. Don't sleep on it. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.